In this video, I'm going to work on page 3 of your final exam review packet, which would be 6 questions. It's going to take us a while because we're doing systems here, so with 2 equations, it just takes a little bit more time. But don't be scared. I'm going to walk you through the entire process. We'll do it together. So here we go. Start with graphing. Graph 2 lines, tell me the point where the 2 lines cross. That's your solution to your system. So kind of think where 2 lines are going to connect, where's the point where they have in common? You know, find that point. Or if they're parallel lines would have no solution, or sometimes they're going to disguise the line as 2 different lines, but they're not. They're the same line, so they have infinite number of solutions. So we're going to figure out what kind these lines are right here. All right, so as I'm looking at my first equation, I'm going to start with my b. Think of that y equals mx plus b. Start with your y-intercept, which is the number term that has no letter. So I'm going to start at +1, and that's the y-intercept, so that needs to go on the y-axis. So maybe you need to label your axes. Now I'm going to follow my slope. Negative means down, and you always go to the right, the number on the bottom. So we're going to go down 2, right 1, 2, 3, down 2, right 1, 2, 3, down 2, right 1, 2, 3. And I get enough points on my grid just because I like to fill up my first line with a bunch of points, because then graphing my second line to find where they meet is just a little quicker. So I'm also going to go up 2, left 1, 2, 3, up 2, left 1, 2, 3, up 2, left 1, 2, 3. So I fill the grid with my first equation. Now I'm going to put my line through those points that we graphed. So there's the first one, so I'm going to color this one in red. It's kind of more pinky red. And the next one we'll do in blue. So I'm going to start at -3, and I'm going to follow my slope. It's positive, so now we're going to go up 2, right 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness, we found our point right away. I only need 2 points to graph a line. Maybe you want more, go ahead, you plot some more if you want to add more. But since I'm only looking for really the point where they cross, so the point where lines cross, this is your answer. And that point we're going to label, looks like it's in between 2 and 4, so a 3 for the x. It's down 1, so -1 here. All right, now the next one. The first line is ready to go in a nice graphing format with y equals mx plus b. We're going to start at 5. Now I'm going to follow my slope 2. Now 2 can be written as a fraction like 2 over 1, which means we're going to go up 2, right 1, 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 and I'm going to continue the pattern going backwards, down to left 1, down to left 1, down 2, left 1, down 2, left 1. I like to fill the whole grid for my first line, because then finding the point where they cross with the second line is, in my opinion, a little easier. So graph your line, plus then you know exactly the points on the grid that you need. Now the next one, if x plus 3y is equal to -6, I am going to use, because it's in standard form, I'm going to use my intercepts because I can make it easy. So if I set my x term equal to -6, that's my x-intercept. And if I set my y term, 3y equal to -6, and divide by 3, I get my y-intercept. So -2. Now I'm connect these 2 points, and I'll see where my lines cross. Right here, I see that point right there. I'm going to label it. That's my solution, my answer to the problem. It looks like it's in between -2 and -4, so that's -3, and it's down 1, so -3, -1. Okay, here we go. We did graphing. Now substitution or elimination would be your algebraic, so not visual, your mathematical ways of solving a system of equations. And I want to tell you kind of my strategies, or how do you know which method to use when you just instantly look at a problem? Am I supposed to know? Well, as you continue in math, you'll learn some tips and tricks along the way, and you'll be able to tell which method you should use right away. Now, when I see a letter that's already solved, this tells me substitution is ready. Okay, so that's just one thing I'm noting. I'm noting that I have y equals stuff. I can plug that stuff into the other equation, and that's exactly what I intend to do here on this first one. So my first equation, I'm going to use pencil now just in case I make a mistake, it's a little easier. 3x minus 2y. When you evaluate or when you substitute, you always use parentheses and you'll do it right. Okay, so I'm going to sub in parentheses what I know y equals. Y was the 3x minus 19. So that goes in place of the y of the other function. Now distribute, combine like terms, solve for x. Distribute, we'll do first. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6x for that term. Negative times a negative is going to make a positive. Double 19, you get 38. Combine like terms is next. 3 minus 6x, if I combine, I have negative 3x. Plus 38 is equal to 23, and now solve. Subtract 38 on both sides. Okay, 23 minus 38 is negative 15. And now, oops, I forgot my letter x. Where'd you go? Ah! Divide by that negative 3, you get a negative divided by a negative, which is a positive 5. Now, again, our solution visually is just maybe a little bit more easy to see that you're solving for a point. And I have half of that information now. A point is labeled x comma y, so I need another value. I'm not done yet because I only have half my information. Plug 5 back into either function, it won't matter. So plug 5 in 2x for either equation and solve for y. I'm going to use the bottom one because it's already solved for y for me. Y equals 3 times the number 5 in place of x. Notice I'm using parentheses again. They're going to save your life here. 15 minus 19, I know that's negative 4. I'll put a comma there in the middle. There's your point. Not 15. 15 minus 9 is negative 4. My solution is 5, negative 4. Okay, here we go. Again, I noticed that I have a letter solved for stuff. Letter x equals stuff. That's substitution ready. So I'm going to use substitution. So I have 2, and I'm going to sub stuff in for x. Plus 5y equals 16. That's that bottom equation. Now here's my substitution. 5 minus 2y is going to go in there. Distribute, combine like terms, solve for y this time. Distribute first. Let's see. Here we go. Distribute first. Combine your like terms. Combine those terms together that are alike. Negative 4 and 5 makes just a y. Now solve. And I get 16 minus 10, which is 6. Now again, your solution is a point. And we solved for y. So make sure that you don't put that in the wrong spot of your point. That says the letter y. Make sure it goes in the y of the point that you're solving for. Now I'm going to sub y equals 6 in to find x. So x is equal to 5 minus 2y. Well, I know what y is now. It's 6. And what is 5 minus 12? Counting, negative 7. And there's your point. Okay, here we go. Last two. I have a feeling elimination is about to come up, but you never know. Elimination. What I look for is standard form, first of all. So you want to look and see this form. When you see that form, that should be a clue to do substitution, or I'm sorry, not substitution, because your letters aren't already solved. So I notice that my x's are aligned vertically, my y's are aligned vertically, my number terms are aligned vertically. And what you want to see is the coefficient will have the same number, but it will be opposite signs. So one is a plus and one is a minus. Now 2 and negative 4 are not the same number, opposite signs. And 5 and negative 10 are not the opposite signs. So what you can do is multiply one or both your equations to make them the same. That's called manipulation right there. I'm going to multiply the top equation by 2 so that my 2 will become a positive 4, and a positive 4 will eliminate with a negative 4. So here is my top new equation. And I'm doing that because I want to cancel out a 4, so I need a 4 up here, so I'm going to double this to make a 4x that will cancel with the negative 4x down below. Okay, so new top equation. Double this, make sure you double everything. Distribute that 2 to every single number. Some people will forget and they'll put a 7 here, and I've noticed that mistake a lot. You'll distribute, but not to every term. Make sure you do every term. Now the bottom function I'm going to rewrite. I didn't change that one, so that one stays as it is. And now I'm ready to do elimination. Some people call it big addition because you're adding two equations together. So think combining like terms. 4 minus 4 eliminates, which is why we did that multiplying of 2. We did that on purpose. But look, oh look, 10 minus 10, this cancels out. 14 and 2, I'm adding here, combining like terms, I get 16. Is it true that 0 equals 16? No. 0 is not 16. No, that's not true. So what happens is there is no solution. So when you say, oh no, that no is actually included in your answer. No solution for this one. So your two lines must have been parallel. Because if they're parallel, they have no solution. They'll never touch. Okay, here we go. Number 24. I'm going to try to cancel my y's, and I'm only doing that because they are already opposite signs. I see one is a plus and one is a minus, and so I got to think of what number do 2 and 3 both multiply to. Think like greatest common factor. I'm going to multiply the top equation by a 3, so this will create a positive 6, and the bottom one by negative 2 to create a, no, not negative, just 2 because it's already negative. 2 to make a negative 6. So I'm going to eliminate the y, okay? So here's my new equations. Triple everything in the top equation. Triple this, you get 9x. Triple this, you get 6y. Triple negative 5, you get negative 15. Okay, here's the bottom one. We're going to double this one. Double 4, you get 8. Double this, you get negative 6. This is why we did the multiplying here, so that we'd get some eliminating, which is why it's called elimination method. Double this, 16 times 2 is 32. And now I will add, combine like terms, add my functions together. 9 plus 8 makes 17x, and 32 minus 15 is a 17. And if I divide by 17, I get x equals 1. So there's half of my answer. Plug 1 into either function, you can solve for your y. So 3x plus 2y equals negative 5. Doesn't matter which one you pick, but we're going to substitute in now for x a 1. Notice parentheses again, those are going to come up a lot here when you evaluate. 3 times 1 is 3. Now I'm going to subtract 3 to solve for my y. Negative 5 minus 3 is negative 8, and if I divide both sides by 2, I get negative 4. And there's our solution, guys. Page 3. Are we on page 3? Done.